channel. Today I'm here with another installment in our little series on helping kids learn to talk. And today I would like to introduce to you the idea that in helping kids learn to talk, it helps to have engaging toys. A lot of our kids, especially those on the autism spectrum and those with any sort of developmental delay, do not interact all that well with other human beings sometimes. And indeed, animals are a little easier, but still sometimes animals also. One of the ways that we help kids interact better is by investing in the time we spend playing with them. And if we want to play, we need to have equipment around that encourages play and makes play fun. Play is a whole other issue. I have a whole separate playlist on play, and I will link that right up there for you if that's a topic that interests you. Most kids who have autism or other developmental disabilities also have difficulty with play. It's kind of part of the diagnosis because it's a social event most of the time, but they oftentimes even have trouble with solitary play. I have videos on that, and I probably should do a refresh on some of those videos because they're getting up there in age. But today I want to take you on a little tour through my home office where right now I'm storing all of my toys and equipment. And I want to show you some of the toys that have proven over almost 20 years of clinical experience to be the ones that are the most engaging for the most kids. Obviously, some of these are not going to work for some kids. Some kids won't find them to be interesting at all. But you will notice that there is something a little quirky about each thing that I bring to your attention. It might be an elevator, it might be a noise that the thing makes, it might be a visual stimulation that happens while playing with this toy. Keep that in mind as you are watching the next little bit of this video. I hope you enjoy my little tour. Welcome to my home office. As you can see, I have a large amount of toys in here, and in fact, it's not all toys. There are a lot of books as well. I also have some toys and equipment in the closet. My goal today is, because I am not in a classroom at the moment, I have a lot of toys at home stored here that I normally would not have at home. And I thought it might be a great time to show you which toys have proven to be the most popular and engaging with the kids that I have worked with. I have worked as a speech pathologist in public schools, private schools, a clinic, churches, families' homes. I have kind of in a hospital and a long-term clinic, but that was with adults. So I have worked for almost 20 years with kids, and I have really gotten a lot of information about which toys are the most engaging for kids. So I'm going to show some of those to you today. We're going to start with this toy, which is called Gearation. It's kind of hard to find now. I will put links to anything that I can find down below. When you turn it on, this gear, let me show you. There's a little connector, and you put it on here, and then you turn it on, and it spins. And as you can see, the visual of it spinning is very, very soothing. And when we have other gears that touch up to the first gear, they also start to spin. Watch this guy, he's so funny. Love his eyes. This one makes a noise, as does this one. So this is very, very engaging for kids. I should probably turn it off while I'm talking. It's engaging because there's visual stimulation that is really soothing for kids, or alerting for kids who need that instead. There are lots of fun colors, there's interesting sounds. The sound of the motor itself is very soothing also. So Gearation is one of those toys that tends to be engaging for almost every child. In fact, I can't think of a kid I've worked with who doesn't like it. The next toy that tends to be very engaging is a train set. These are really easy to find. There's no need to get anything too special. I found mine at Target, and then people donate different random guys. Like this little guy is not part of my train set. So I prefer more tactile toys when possible. I don't love toys that are made out of plastic if I can get something different, and so it's really fun to have something that is wooden, or mostly wooden, I guess. Watch this. Whee! Even cats like train sets. My next toy that tends to be very engaging is a Mega Bloks set. This one happens to be a Dora Mega Bloks set. So I have Swiper and Isa and Boots. And somewhere in my bin I have Dora and a bunch. I think I have 2 Doras. Oh, and Tico. That's my favorite. Look at how cute that is. Hee hee. Big smile. I found this set, I think, at Tuesday Morning. So kind of an outlet style place to buy stuff. But it turned out to be a wonderful choice. It's really popular with the kids. It's easy to build stuff, and also the pieces themselves are cute. I mean, they're chunky and they're just cute, and they're fun to play with. If you've been following my channel for any amount of time, you will have seen how much I love rocket balloons. I have a number of sets in here. So I have the pumps for probably, oh, this one's already ready for us. I have the pumps for probably 4 different sets. I think most of them come with 20 balloons and 1 pump. So, oh, I guess maybe some of these came with extra pumps. So I am going to pump this balloon up for you and show you how it works. Let me see if I can find somewhere to set the camera. This is how the balloons pump up. You just push this little plunger and it pushes air into the balloon. I've never done it with one hand before. So I am going to pump it up, and then I will show you what happens after I pump it up. It's pretty cool. Are you ready? My balloon is all pumped up. There's a cat excited to see what happens. Never done this with a fan on. That'll be interesting. Look at that. Oh, the cat found it. It's over behind the door. Usually they squeal. That one did not squeal, so that must be an older one. Nevertheless, rocket balloons are very, very fun and motivating. Once again, I make it a little more complex by using a countdown board. So this, before I let the balloon go, I count down and I make the kids point 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off! And then we let it go. Very fun. I also recommend some kind of toy house. I don't recommend calling it a doll house because that kind of persuades a few families that they don't want their boy children to be participating. However, toy houses are especially great for teaching some of those things that we do on a daily basis. So activities of daily living type things. We can talk about them better because they're happening to our characters. Once again, as usual, I have a little requesting board in here, and when I am working privately with children as clients, I have them request the items that they want, and I'm in control of the box, which has a lid that many of my students cannot open by themselves, though they learn. So then I have to open it and get the toys out for them that they request. I would prefer potentially a wooden toy house or something other than this gigantic plastic monstrosity. However, this was donated to me probably between 15 and 17 years ago, and it is in great shape. I haven't lost any of the pieces. The doors come out sometimes, but they pop right back in. The cool thing about this particular house is that you fold that up and you fold this up. Oh, I can't do this with one hand. And then you fold in the sides and it's much smaller, and I can just tuck it in the corner of a classroom and it doesn't seem quite so monstrous. I recommend getting more ethnically diverse families, but this is the one that was donated to me, and it was donated by a white family, so it makes sense that they would have white people in it. And it's got all sorts of different people, and it's even got a little baby. And most kids like to play with babies. A lot of our kids with autism would prefer not to play with houses or with people at all. And the reason for this, I'm sure there are multiple reasons, but one of the main reasons is because they know that people interact with each other and talk to each other, and they are not quite sure how to do that. That's not something they're good at themselves. So they don't want to play with people who have to communicate with each other. They'd rather play with cars or balloons or animals. So it's good to get a toy like this house that is engaging. It's engaging because there's a car with it, because there are doors that open and close. It's cool to just open it up and that the ladder flips down. That's cool. It's interesting because the oven and the fridge and the cabinets over here all open up. There are a lot of things about it that are engaging, and so I use those to draw kids in and then expand their abilities. For example, I had one little guy who just wanted, oh, the trunk got smashed in a little bit in storage. There we go. He just wanted to drive the car back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And so I said, uh-oh, driver. I kind of forced the issue that we didn't get to drive it back and forth unless someone was driving. And then he could drive it back and forth. Because cars do not go on their own. And that is one of the things that we work on when we're playing in a toy house, is that we're not just playing in a way that satisfies our sensory system. We're also allowing the real world to encroach upon our play a little bit. We need a driver in our car. So, usually, houses are very appealing to kids. This toy is engaging for a couple of reasons. Number one, a lot of our young men or boys with autism tend to be really fascinated by space and rocket ships and things like that. So this is good for that reason. I should tell you, this little pod comes off, and this is how our space people fly around. The second reason this is an engaging toy is that it has an elevator. Oops, that's going down. Kids, especially kids with autism, love elevators. So it's good if we have toys that have elevators. So this little guy, and my cat Alistair likes elevators too, apparently. So this little guy is going to go all the way down to the surface of the planet. And look how cute he is. This is just a super cute set. Robot. I have 3 different space sets. One is from Fisher-Price from the 80s. One is from the early 2000s. And from what I can tell is no longer available. And then this one is more recent and is still available, I believe. So I'll put links to all of this down below, of course. But this one's very, very cute. There are a bunch of small pieces, so I don't usually allow the kids to play with the small pieces. We have astronauts. They're all white, so that's not so great. I believe this is a Northern European company, so, but I don't know why redheads. So all the astronauts are the same, and they're kind of the same color. This is cool because it has these little charger things, and then the charger can plug into stuff, which is very cool. Let me see if I can find a battery. But obviously, if you have a child who's going to eat these, then don't give the pieces to the child that he or she is going to eat. Please. Also, the astronauts have to walk on the treadmill inside their spaceship because otherwise their bones will get too brittle. So I like the science of that. I like this, that it gets charged up. And in fact, in the spaceship, there are some areas where you can charge stuff too. Not where I'm seeing it at the moment. Let's turn it around and see. There we go. You can charge something right there. I just love all the little details. I think it's very adorable. Of course, I couldn't leave this discussion without mentioning a marble run. I have built a little marble tower for you over here. Of course, they can go much, much higher. I have usually attempted to build one as tall as my students so they could barely reach the top, but this one's only a couple of feet tall. Keep in mind you need marbles for this activity. I keep my marbles in a container that many of my children find difficult to open, and I do not store the marbles with the marble run. I store them in my snacks cabinet, which my students cannot reach and which has a latch, a child-proof latch. I don't want anyone eating these. As long as I have built this, let us watch what happens. Whoops. Let's try that again, but let's use more marbles. It's more fun that way. You can see why this is very engaging. Usually it does have to be built by an adult, and you have to keep an eye on the marbles. Other than that, this is very, very fun for most kids, especially kids with autism who tend to have a very sort of mathematical awareness of the world. Wasn't it fun playing toys together today? Thank you for joining me on my little toy tour. I hope that you found something that you think will engage your child. Some of these things you might already have in your home, and you know that your child either does or doesn't like that particular thing. Keep trying. Just because your child isn't interested in a train set doesn't mean that your child won't be interested in gears or in rocket balloons. If the stage of play that is required by a particular toy is too advanced for a particular child's current level of development, then that toy, that way of playing with that particular toy, isn't going to be very easy for the child. If your child doesn't know what to do with a toy house, we don't have to force the child into playing house, like having the mom and the dad with the baby and they go to work or they go to the beach or whatever the case is. The child can just drive the car back and forth. However, of course, there needs to be a driver in the car. We got to make it a little bit realistic, got to ground it in reality when we're playing with toys. However, if your child shows no interest in a toy house at all, start with a toy that is more sensory based, like the rocket balloons, like the gears. Start with something else. There are plenty of options. In fact, I think I should do an upcoming video. My goodness, I'm making a huge list for myself about toys at different levels and when you should think about investing in particular toys. Okay, this video was just meant to give you an overview of the toys that have worked out the best in my classrooms and also in all the other environments where I have worked with kids. I will do more detailed videos in the future, so please subscribe, click the bell. Not just for my benefit, not for my benefit at all, in fact, but for the benefit of the other families and professionals who want to learn more about how to support kids who have autism, who have Down syndrome, who have other kinds of developmental delays or disorders. We all want to do better at this, and when channels like this get recommended, that's when these kind of videos get watched, and that is what we want to happen. The more bell clicks I have, the more subscribers I have, the more that happens. So I would appreciate it if you would do your part. Thank you for being part of this little community. Leave me comments down below, and I will see you in my next video. Be well. Have a great day.